Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our learning target today is to be able to multiply polynomials by other polynomials. Today we're going to be dealing with special products, which basically means they are fancy polynomials that when we multiply them together, we know what they are going to look like. So, for example, if we have a plus b squared, that really can be rewritten as a plus b times a plus b, and then we can solve it out that way. Same thing, if we have a square of a difference, we can rewrite it as a minus b times a minus b. And definitely the most important one for us today is the product of a sum. We can rewrite that as a plus b times a minus b, or a minus b times a plus b. And if you notice that one, it's actually just going to be a squared minus b squared. If that's not quite making sense to you right now, it will in a couple seconds, so you will be all set to go. So let's go ahead and look at our first example here. If we have 5y plus 3 squared, that means we really have that thing twice. So if we have it twice, we know we're going to have to make a 2 by 2 box. And I have 5y, 3, 5y, and 3. And the reason I can do that is because of this squared right here. So 5y times 5y is going to be 25y squared. 5y times 3 is going to be 15y. 5y times 3 is going to be 15y. 3 times 3 is 9. 25y squared, I have no like terms to go along with that, so I just have 25y squared. I have 15y's. I also have another set of y's right there. So 15y plus 15y is going to be 30y. And then I have 9, which there's no numbers to go with it, so I have 9. And that's going to be my final answer. Let's try our next example. So I have 6p minus 1, that is squared, so that means I have it twice. That means I can use a box binomial. So I have 6p negative 1, 6p negative 1. So I'm going to get 36p squared. 6 times negative 1, or 6p times negative 1 is going to be negative 6p. Over here I'm going to have negative 6p. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So now I just combine my like terms. So I have 36p squared. I got negative 6p. I also have negative 6p. That's going to be negative 12p. And I have plus 1. Let's go ahead and look at our next examples. I still have a binomial times a binomial, so I'm going to go ahead and make my 2 by 2 box. I have x to the third 4y, x to the third 4y. X to the third times x to the third is going to be x to the sixth. X to the third times 4y is going to be 4x to the third y. Over here I get 4x to the third y. And 4y times 4y is going to be 16y squared. Combine my like terms, I have x to the sixth. I have no other x to the sixth, that's going to be there. I have 4x to the third y's and 4x to the third y's. Altogether, that's going to be 8x to the third y's. And I have 16y squared. Continue the same process. Here I have 3n plus 2 and 3n minus 2. Okay, so I get 9n squared. I get 6n, negative 6n, and negative 4. I have 9n squareds. I have a negative 6n and a positive 6n, so those actually are going to cancel out. And I have a negative 4. That's going to be my final answer there. The thing I want you to notice there is if we have the same thing but one's a plus sign and one's a minus sign, your middle terms are always actually going to cancel each other out. And we're actually going to use that here to help us to solve this problem a little bit easier. So here I have a 2x minus 6, a 2x plus 6, and an x plus 3. I'm going to multiply these two together first because I want to try and get rid of that middle term because I know they're going to cancel out because one's a minus and one's a plus. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have 2x minus 6, 2x plus 6, 4x squared, 12x, negative 12x, and negative 36. Okay, so when we do that, we are going to be left with 4x squared, the 12x and the negative 12x cancel out, minus 36. So now I have 4x squared because I can simplify this down. So I have 4x squared minus 36, and I still have that multiplying the x plus 3. Okay, now I have to do that, and I'll be all done with the problem. So it's kind of a double problem, 2 in 1. X 3. So 4x squared times x is going to be 4x to the third. I'll have negative 36x. I'll have 12x squared. 3 times negative 36 is going to be negative 108. If you didn't know that, just use a calculator. I combine any like terms that I have. So here I have an x to the third. So I have 4x to the third. I have an x squared, but I don't have any other x squared, so it's going to be plus 12x squared. I have a negative 36x, and there's nothing to go with that. And I have a negative 108. So that's going to be my final answer. Let's go ahead and look at our next example. This one looks confusing, but if we actually take it similar to how we just did it, it's not too bad. The thing that I'm going to do to make my life easier is I have the x minus 4 and the x plus 4. I'm going to multiply those together first. And then I have the 3n plus 3 and the 3n minus 3. I'm going to multiply those together as well. So what that'll do is cancel out the middle term, so I'll have easier problems to work with. Okay, so I have x squared 4x, negative 4x, and negative 16. So that gives me an answer of x squared minus 16. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the 3n plus 3 and the 3n minus 3. So I get 9n squared there. Okay, so when I do that, I'm left with the 9n squared minus 9. Now I can multiply those two things together, and I will have my answer. So go ahead and do my box. So it's going to be 9n squared x squared. 9 times negative 16. Is negative 144. 10 squared. Get negative 9x squared. And then negative times negative. Okay, And then we have negative 9 times negative 16, which is going to be positive 144. Now we just have to combine any like terms, which if we notice there are no like terms there, so it's just going to be 9 n squared x squared minus 9x squared minus 144 n squared plus 144. That's it for today. I'm sorry, we have one more page. So let's go ahead and do our last page here. So we have a minus b squared. So I'm going to have a minus b times a minus b. So I'm going to make a 2 by 2 box. A minus b, a minus b. Here I have a squared, negative ab, negative ab. Negative b times negative b is going to be positive b squared. So I have a squared. I have no other a squareds, so it's just going to be a squared. I have negative ab. I have another negative ab, so it's going to be negative 2 ab's because I have 2 of them. And then I have a b squared. I have a minus b times a plus b, so that's going to be a 2 by 2 box. So I have a squared, ab, negative ab, and negative b squared. I have a squared. This AB and this AB are like terms, but they cancel each other out because they're opposites. And then I have negative b squared. That is it for our notes today. Good luck on your homework.